So I'm going to be looking at a deck in this video. It is Tarot Disassembled by Jennifer Cooper Steedley. And I haven't looked at a deck in a while, but I want to do that more. I've had people write me and ask, oh, well, can I see some more of the cards from certain decks? And I want to have a list of videos that are available that go over each one that appears often in my videos. And I think this is one that will appear often in my videos because it's one that I can teach from. So let's talk about it. The first thing that stands out to me on this deck are the bright colors, perfect for springtime. I think it has a beautiful aesthetic. It's just bold, very intense, and just something great to look at in the morning when you wake up. And we're going to start out here talking about the guidebook. And this deck is published by Redwill Weiser. And the guidebook has an introduction by Teresa Reed, the tarot lady. It also has some things about how to use the book and the deck. She gives keywords, astrological associations, planetary associations, elemental associations, and these are on some cards. Not all the cards will include every single thing here. She goes over the individual symbols. I found this extremely helpful. Not a lot of decks do that, go over each symbol and talk about each symbol. So that's actually something that's unique. And I don't have a deck like that in my collection. So that's where this deck really shines for me. One of the things on the full card, since I have it open to that, I'll go ahead and talk about that, was the little wheel that's on his garment. I never thought about it. And, you know, it talks about spiritual progression, forward movement, loss, cycles, rebirth. So it helped me connect the full card with the Wheel of Fortune card and think about those cycles and how that might apply in my life. So that was something that was new to me. I didn't really notice that that little symbol was there, and picking up on that because of this deck, you know, I might not have thought about that. So here's the deck. I think that the box is great. Overall, this deck is quality. I think that it has a great presentation. So in the inside, there's a quote by Arthur E. Waite. It says, "The true tarot is symbolism. It speaks no other language and offers no other signs." So that's a really cool quote that's included there. Something kind of interesting to think about every time you open the deck, that, yeah, it is symbols, and these symbols do work with you. Some of these symbols really do have an impact and are important to think about. They can be subtle, but sometimes on some days they might mean more than others. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. We have this really cool gilding that's a dark yellow color. It's not really shiny or anything like that, so it's perfect. The cards are not shiny. They work really well on camera. It shuffles really nice. The cards don't bend too much. They are about almost 3 inches by 5 inches. I would say maybe like 2 3/4 inches by 4 3/4, something like that. But yeah, standard size. They are reversible, so these are the backs. So you have this dark background with the colors really popping off of that. And let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. So starting out here with the King of Swords. Again, things standing out to me. The crows, I didn't really think about those as much on the King of Swords. Queen of Swords, these are in no particular order. Ace of Swords, Temperance. So some of the cards will have an image of a person, but as a mannequin. And I think you have the Judgment card, the Hangman, and the Tower, and then one other one, the World. Those are the ones that will have a person on there. Again, with the Hebrew letters here, this is Yod. And yeah, I like the black background on this because it gives you that feel that this is a more shadowy card. And I think she does that with other cards. So cards that might be a little more challenging will have that dark background, and then some might be a little gray. And so when you pull the cards, if you're getting a lot of black and grays, these might be more shadow work type cards that you're dealing with, or depending on the situation or what the reading's about, maybe not. But that's just something to think about. Queen of Wands, Page of Swords, Queen of Cups. I love on the Two of Cups here how you have that energy between opposites, fire and water, really standing out even with the yin and yang symbol there. Another thing here is this window, or not window, but stage. That stage is interesting because it kind of digs into the shadow side of relationships, the shadow side of other things as well. I saw it on, I think it was, yeah, right here, the Six of Pentacles. That stage is there again, because sometimes you give and you give because, well, maybe not you, but I've seen it done before where people give because it's for show and that's not really coming from the heart. And so it kind of reminds me of some of the shadow things. So even though that's not on the card, it makes me think about the card a little bit deeper. And then on some cards, you know, you'll have things that might indicate that there's a person there, their clothing or armor or maybe a head garment or something like that. On others, you won't. Like on the Empress card, you don't really have her clothing, but you have the pillow. And so I never thought about the pillow for the Empress card. I don't think I ever would have thought about the pillow for the Empress card. But it kind of brings to mind comfort and security and a very clear, subtle, but impactful way. The Hanged One, Star, Devil card, Judgment, Four of Swords. But like on this card, there isn't much that I haven't paid attention to on this card. So like this one, it's not something that I think had a lot to disassemble, but still you may want to look at just one aspect and just focus on the swords and not the fact that the swords are in the heart. Because when the swords are in the heart and you're focusing on that, it automatically takes you to a place of heartache. But maybe it's just something mental. So here's that little wheel that appears on the garment of the Fool card, of the Fool on the Fool card. And I never noticed it, never thought about it. So yeah, I'm not going to show you all the cards, but just wanted to kind of flip through them and talk about them a little bit. Again, for me, this deck works in several different ways. First of all, using it as just a deck to teach from and learn from. It's a great learning deck for me, but also in readings, helping me to not focus so much on the big picture, the archetypes, and look at the details and what those can mean to me. Because sometimes when I pull cards in a deck, that big picture doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit the question. It doesn't fit what I'm feeling intuitively. And maybe I need to dig a little bit deeper and find out exactly what's going on and look at some details that might be why that card came up in the first place. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Will. And again, you'll see this deck in some of my future videos, but I'll see you next time.